Thanks to all the witnesses. I would like to note that today is the 3rd anniversary of the act of the Islamophobic terrorism in London that took the lives of the Afzal family and shook the Muslim community across Canada. Our London family are in our prayers today and all days. I would like to ask Mr. Brown to comment on how acts of Islamophobia like this impact the sense of safety and security that members of the community feel in Canada, and if there is any specific example of the increase of the Islamophobic incidents in the past few months.
Thank you very much, MP Zahid. Over the past, as I said before, over the past 8 months, there's been an enormous rise in Islamophobia across the country. We've seen a 1,300% increase in cases reported to our legal clinic at the National Council of Canadian Muslims. And one of the most egregious examples that came across our desk was that of a young boy his name is Hamza. And he's a Muslim student in a special needs program at York Region District School Board High School. Hamza was violently attacked by a group of students who were calling him Hamas instead of Hamza, among other racist and Islamophobic slurs. That vicious attack left Hamza bloodied with a fractured nose. He was having difficulty breathing, among other health issues, but the school failed to call for an ambulance or respond to Hamza's medical and other needs. And it was after immense frustration with the school's response that Hamza's parents were forced to move him to another school, and this is while the bullies themselves remained in the school. This is just one of many examples of the most vulnerable members of our community paying the price for Islamophobia in our society.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. As a woman who wears a hijab, Bill 21 in Quebec is of great concern. So could you please explain to us how Bill 21 creates systemic discrimination?
Yes, absolutely. Bill 21 is a law that was passed with the explicit objective to take away the rights of minorities. Leading up to Bill 21, there was long discussions in society about the basically discomfort that many people faced with Muslim women in particular. And many governments prior to the CAQ government had made recommendations to remove people's rights, but it was in 2019 that the Quebec government moved to enact a law that would take away the rights of citizens to practice certain professions. This is, for me, as a Quebecer and as a Black Canadian, extremely disturbing. I come from a family, my family's been here for 7 generations. When my father was born in 1949, Black people still didn't have the right to go to university and study what they want to or work where they want to. My grandfather couldn't work at the steel factory in Hamilton because the unions didn't want Blacks. I am the first male born in the history of my family with the right to work and study where I want to. And I am the last generation of my family to be able to do so, because the Quebec government, once again, passed a law that means that people that look like me and my family are now barred from certain professions because of what we look like. The government of Quebec has returned my family to the 1940s. This is happening in Canada. Passed using the notwithstanding clause, sous bâillon, so that there was no debate at the National Assembly. And this was done because the Prime Minister of Quebec said in an interview after he passed this law that sometimes you gotta give a little bit to the majority because they're racist people in society that are anxious about the way that my religious minorities look like in the streets. This is something that our country cannot tolerate. Canada cannot be a liberal democracy and have one set of rules for one type of people and another set of rules for another people based on their identity. There is a term used to describe people citizens that have less rights than others based on their identity. This technical term are called second-class citizens. And that is what Bill 21 has created in our country. And it is this government's responsibility to ensure that a Canadian passport for my family means the same as a Canadian passport for any other Canadian family.
Thank you.